This is assessment 4.3a, problem 8. Problem 8 says assume a and b are natural numbers and answer the following. So we're just going to do some greatest common denominators and some least common multiples. So a says if the greatest common denominator of a and b is 1, find the least common multiple of a and b. So if the greatest common denominator is 1, then we know that there's like nothing else that can go in. So the only thing to do for the least common multiple is just to simply multiply a and b, and that's going to be your least common multiple. So that is it for A. B says to find the greatest common denominator of a and the least common multiple of a and a. So this one, let me move this up a little bit. So this one is pretty self-explanatory. Since we're not dealing with a and b, we're just dealing with a and a. Your greatest common denominator is just a, whatever a is. Same thing goes with the least common multiple. That's also just a. Because we're not dealing with anything else. We're not dealing with b. We're just dealing with a strictly. C is almost the same, but a little different. Now we're dealing with a squared, so find the greatest common denominator of a squared and a, as well as the least common multiple. So the greatest common denominator is just a. Yeah, and the least common multiple, that would be what we can, between a squared and a, what we're getting to make those things even. It's not easy to demonstrate with my hands in this, but so that's just going to be a squared, because that's what we get, because we have a over here is just a to the first. So you just go one more, that'd be a squared, and then a squared match up. And finally, D says if a divides b, find the greatest common denominator of a and b, as well as the least common multiple of a and b. So your greatest common denominator is, again, going to be a, because a divides b, so it's in there. And then your least common multiple is, yep, you probably guessed it, b, because if a divides b, it's just whatever b can end up getting to where these two are equal. So that's it. A couple of examples there on the greatest common denominator and least common multiple.